All right, everyone. Hello and welcome in. It is once again Monday. That means we are back to the content grind here on Skull Ohio. Hopefully, you all had a nice, joyous, relaxing, refreshing weekend. I myself did not have a weekend that could be described like that. It was very chaotic. So, with that in mind, what we're going to try to do today is we're going to try to extend the weekend into Monday so that I can enjoy it with you because it was pretty busy over the weekend for me. So we're going to try to extend the weekend here into Monday. And the way we're going to do that is we're not going to have a serious discussion today about the Minnesota Vikings. Let's have a fun little activity slash game slash exercise where we talk about bringing back some former Vikings from years past and utilizing their talents at the peak of their careers to help the Vikings in 2021 win a Super Bowl. This is a Vikings Legends fantasy draft, if you will. So the way that this is going to work, and you can participate yourselves in the comments below, we're going to select players from previous Vikings teams, and I have those listed here. The idea behind this is, we've been discussing the entire offseason. How can this team get to a Super Bowl? What pieces are we missing? What players from other teams can we grab? What players that are still in free agency could we bring in that would help fill holes, fill roles, and get this team to where it needs to be? And that's a Super Bowl contender, or at the very least, a deep playoff run. The other point of departure, kind of the idea behind this video, is that the NHL expansion draft is happening in a few days, and the protected list just came out. I thought about doing something like that, but that's a little convoluted and complicated. So we're going to do it this way, in this format, which I think will be fun. And just a quick side note, if you've seen the protected list for the Minnesota Wild, I think it's very good. I think those are the players we definitely want to keep. We are leaving exposed some good names that I will be disappointed if they do depart to Seattle, those being Carson Soucy and Kaapo Kähkönen. If Seattle is watching this video, please don't take Victor Rask. Victor Rask is very, very good. He's the best first-line center that we have. And you shouldn't take him because we'd be very upsetty spaghetti if you did that. So hands off Victor Rask, please. Thank you. And good luck with your inaugural season. Okay, now that we have that out of the way, let's get into this Vikings Legends fantasy draft. How is this going to work? So the question, the prompt that I propose to you, the audience, is what players would you take from the 1998, 2000, 2009, and 2017 Vikings teams to help win a Super Bowl right now in 2021? So, of course, there's going to be rules. So the rules for this activity are as follows. You can pick one player per season, so that gives you 4 total. You can only select a position once. So if you select a quarterback in 1998, can't select a quarterback for the rest of the game. The players that you select will be in the physical shape slash skill, skill set that they were in that year that you select them. So you're getting the 1998 version of whoever it is you select. So if you select Chris Carter, you get the 1998 version of Chris Carter, and so on and so forth. So if you're wondering why I selected 1998, 2000, and 2009 and 2017 for this activity, is because I felt that that was the most recent 4 strongest Minnesota Vikings teams that we could pick from, and they were all participants in the NFC Championship game, and they unfortunately all lost. That is the caveat. So we don't want to talk about that. We just want to talk about fun stuff. No depressing Minnesota sports things today. All right, so the 1998 championship team, at least participant, 2000, 2009, and 2017 teams. These are the most recent 4 instances we have of the Vikings making it to the NFC title game. That's why I picked those years. So without further ado, let's begin. I'm going to tell you my selections, and then I want you to leave your selections in the comments below. Let's see if there's any difference here, and of course explain why you picked the players that you did, which I'm going to do right now. So for the 1998 Minnesota Vikings, the player that I'm going to select for them to bring to the future in all of their glory and participate in 2021 is going to be John Randall, defensive end. And this was easy for me for 1998. I looked at the roster and, I gave it a good once up and down, and I was like, John Randall's a slam dunk from this year, because we take him, we put him on an already improved defensive line. Dalvin Tomlinson, Michael Pierce, Danielle Hunter, John Randall. Good friggin' luck pass blocking any of that, because not only do you have to worry about an improved interior stopping the run, you have one of the best defensive ends of all time in John Randall, and then you have one of the best up-and-coming defensive ends in Danielle Hunter, probably one of the best in the league currently, and I think more people would be having that argument had he not missed the 2020 season. Right, so that's going to be the first selection. I felt that was very simple, getting John Randall to beef up the defense, give Mike Zimmer probably the Christmas of Christmas days that he could ever imagine, right? All right, moving on to the year 2000. This was another easy selection. I went with Randy Moss. I could have got him in 1998, but I figured John Randall was more important. Still am able to get Randy Moss, so I'll bring him in with Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen. Hey, look, we've solved wide receiver 3. We don't have to talk about that anymore. Now we have the most dynamic, the most untouchable, the most unstoppable wide receiver unit in the NFL. So first 2 picks were John Randall and Randy Moss for myself. Moving on, it gets a little bit more difficult because 2009, there wasn't really any names that I wanted to bring in other than this one guy. And this player that I'm selecting, the Vikings legend for 2009 that I'm going to bring into 2021, is going to be Steve Hutchinson, the Hall of Fame guard, because let's face it, we need help on the interior of the offensive line. And who better to bring in than Steve Hutchinson, who was one of the better ones on that left side, paving the way for Adrian Peterson for a number of years. So we put, Christian Darrisaw at left tackle. We've got Steve Hutchinson now at left guard, Garrett Bradbury. We can have a rotating unit or, a training camp battle for right guard for Wyatt Davis and Ezra Cleveland. We don't have to talk about Dakota Dozier or Drew Samia other than maybe as backups anymore. So that's perfect for me. That's exactly what I would want. Steve Hutchinson comes in from the year 2009. 2017. This was probably the most difficult year because, you could have went with a number of players. You could bring back Stephon Diggs. You could go with Xavier Rhodes, who, was really good in 2017. There was a lot of overlap here, of course, because it was only 4 years ago. And I'm going to make a kind of what I think is going to be a surprise pick for 2017. I'm going to go with Kai Forbath, the kicker, because let's face it, without him in the game against the Saints, the Minneapolis Miracle doesn't happen, right? Because he makes the clutch field goal late in the game. And without that, we don't get Stephon Diggs and Case Keenum hooking up on that last-minute play to send us to Philadelphia. It doesn't happen. It's just not a thing. So I know Kai Forbath historically is not the most accurate or greatest kicker. He's not in that discussion. He's probably not even in the discussion for like tier 2 or tier 3, maybe like bottom tier 3. I don't know. After tier 1, we don't really talk about kickers all that much. So, but I think bringing in Kai Forbath, at least for the year of 2021, would be better than what we have currently on the roster. The 2017 version of Kai Forbath, I think, is better than the 2021 version of Greg Joseph and Riley Patterson, the undrafted free agent out of Memphis. So those would be my selections in this Vikings Legends Fantasy Draft, one from each of the previous 4 NFC Championship team participants for the Minnesota Vikings. Just to recap, in 98, I selected John Randall. 2000, I selected Randy Moss. 2009, Steve Hutchinson. And in 2017, I went with Kai Forbath, the kicker, to solidify a position that Mike Zimmer just seems to struggle with day in and day out. So let me know who you would select from those 4 Minnesota Vikings teams from years past. Be interested to know why and if there's any overlap. So thank you very much for watching the video. See you in the next one.